Hello everybody, Wootmaster here, and it's time for another one of my Mia Threadcast videos, and I have three things to cover this time, with the first being a very late reference to the fact that I played Restaurant Cleanup through YouTube's playable system. Like, it's just one of those idle games where you make money off of, doing some sort of job, and you get more money. So you put the money into buying upgrades and all that, and it's as fun as any of those usually are to like do in the background. But the customers suck because they make huge messes and they complain about everything, and that is that. But the second thing I have to cover is the Muppet Show revival, and I thought it was pretty darn good. I thought it really did capture the style of the original show, because like the sketches were funny, the songs were good, and they were more than capable of taking things slow through the show and not just making it comedy, 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 just zeroing in on the Muppets being a comedy show. And that was, I don't want to like spoil it and go into like huge details on a lot of the show, but I will say I'm happy that they brought Rizzo back because Rizzo had been gone for a while since his performer left because he was like fired, as far as I'm aware. And it was nice to see him back. I thought that the finale number was really good, and I really hope that they bring more Muppet Show back. Like, I hope that this actually leads to a full revival because I thought that like this as a backdoor pilot that they're doing to, like gauge interest probably. Like, I think that it really works. And now for the big thing that I had done recently, me and my brother played Pikmin 3 Deluxe co-op, and we started the playthrough like late 2025 or maybe close-ish to late 2025. We took a while to finish the playthrough, but like it was fun. Like the co-op in this game really works well because you and your partner can just be doing things. You can be doing your separate tasks, and like my brother isn't as big a Pikmin guy as I am, so I was there helping him more than I was like the guiding force of the two of us. But like it was fun. My brother caught on pretty quick because I had made him play Pikmin 4 before that, so like he had experience with Pikmin, and you know, we had a pretty good time with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And then for just my general thoughts on Pikmin 3, like I like it a lot. Like I think it isn't like my favorite, but when I look at the series as a whole, I feel like each game just gets better than the last. Like Pikmin 1 is a good like base level for a Pikmin game, then there's Pikmin 2, which I think is better about adding more content to the game, and I think, in spite of how rude that game can be, that can make it really fun when you're trying to like do a no Pikmin losses run, because then it's like every little thing just it's like really fun to try and navigate the challenge that the game provides, and it can be really funny when like something jumps out at you and you have to do your best to get around it, like play around it. And I like Pikmin 3 a lot more, like just for how Pikmin 3 really feels like the first game where the Pikmin AI isn't, super janky at times. And then there's Pikmin 4, which, if you know me, you know I love Pikmin 4 to death because I've played it plenty of times and put a ton of hours into playing the game, trying to get through the game as fast as possible. But for Pikmin 3 Deluxe, for one thing, I'm happy that they fixed the issues that I was having on Switch 2, and that is where I played the game in co-op with my brother. And for general thoughts on Pikmin 3, like, first there's the story, and I think that the story is fun. You get three captains, Elf, Brittany, and Charlie. They Pikmin plant because their plant is running out of food, and then they also find out that in their crash landing, Olimar is on the planet and he has the car keys, and they gotta get the car keys back so they can get back to their planet. So the story has you go on a wild goose chase to chase Olimar down, and then eventually when you find him, you save him from the final boss, and then you get to go home, and you know, all throughout you're gathering fruit to get juice so you have enough days of food to survive, which, admittedly makes it to where just like Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 4, the time limit, if you're effective enough, is really non-existent because like they kind of took that half step to try and make it like Pikmin 1 with the time limit, and there just wasn't really because as long as you're getting fruit in good enough time, you're going to be getting plenty of, you're going to be getting plenty of fruit. Like, I never end the game without more than, 2 months worth. And maybe if you're a less experienced player, it could be a bigger issue. But, like, for me, it's not really that huge a deal. But, if I'm looking at Pikmin 3, just compared to the rest of the series, I think that, like, the one big issue with the game is that, like, more than any other Pikmin game, this game is kind of linear and you are really railroaded into what you need to do. Because, like, you have the starting area where you get the red Pikmin, and then after you've done the tutorial, you go to the second area, you get the rock Pikmin, and then when you get to the thing that lets you go to the next area, you find the yellow Pikmin and Charlie, and then you go back to the first area, and then that leads you to the area where you get the winged Pikmin, and then you go back to the area where you get the rock Pikmin, because then you get the blue Pikmin, and after that, you beat the boss there, and you saved Louie because he was mistaken for Olimar at one point in the story. You go to the you can either go to the final area or you can clean up everything, and at that point, like, blue Pikmin are just pretty much useless because you know you could get most everything in the rest of the game, like using winged Pikmin, rock Pikmin, yellow Pikmin, and red Pikmin. So, like, blue Pikmin really just get the short on the stick in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, or just Pikmin 3 in general. And I think that's probably one of the weakest elements of Pikmin 3, is just how linear the game is. Because, like, when you're just going through the areas, I think that the levels are really well designed, and the 5 different Pikmin types you have in this game are all really fun to use. Like, winged Pikmin are really fun to use because they're super broken. You can just lock them onto things that are way out of reach, and they can get a number of fruits that you would normally need to solve different puzzles for. And then there's like the enemies. I think that the enemies are, pretty decently designed as far as me and how I view Pikmin enemies are concerned. Like, Pikmin 3 also has the drawback of, like, making it where the enemies are less deadly, it feels like, because, like, in Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 4, they don't eat them as fast as they can, chew through your Pikmin in Pikmin 1 and 2, because, like, in Pikmin 1 and 2, you can lose your Pikmin army in, like, 0 to 60 Pikmin gone in 2 seconds. So that's also something that could be a drawback for some, but also I appreciate in Pikmin 3 and 4 how the games are made a decent bit more accessible, because then, like, for someone like me, what I like about playing the Pikmin games is trying to see how well I can clear the game in the shortest amount of time possible. And so the game is a double-edged sword where I can acknowledge the problem with it, and I can also admit that there is a part of me that sees benefit to it. But, overall, I just love the Pikmin games where you have to strategize and try and effectively, get as much done in the day as possible. I especially love in Pikmin 3 Deluxe how there's like a super easy mode because that makes it that gives you like more daytime, so I can do the part I really like about Pikmin 3 and any Pikmin game easier. I can like get way more done in the day because the days are made longer and the enemies are weaker, and like it's fun for the casual speed running nature that I approach Pikmin games with, because I can admit I'm not like an actual speed runner of Pikmin games, but I enjoy playing the games, you know, going from start to finish, seeing how fast I can do them. So, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is one of the better games in that regard. It's like Pikmin 2 is fun to like try and get through without losing any Pikmin, without anyone dying, and trying to be, you know, trying to get around all the traps that they throw at you, because it just makes you freak out and you try and get around. But like Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 4, it's like I like just trying to get through the game as fast as I can. And so Pikmin 3 Deluxe is one that I really like. Like, it's hard to say where I'd place it. Like, it probably goes third place if I'm ranking the Pikmin games. Like, Pikmin 1 is the first one. It's like first game syndrome there. Pikmin 3, even though I would say it's like the second best in the series because I think each game gets better with the Pikmin AI, in my personal ranking, I view it as like third place because I just like Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 4 a lot better because there's more game, and in two's case there's more to like there's more challenge to it, and I find it fun. And then Pikmin 4 is just the one I really like going back to because I love the Dandori caves, I love the Leafling battles, I love the I just love exploring the world, and like, yeah, Ochi kind of trivializes a lot of the game, but I think that Ochi is another one of those things where like he makes the game more accessible, and I appreciate making the game more accessible if it helps the game, get to a wider audience, because I also don't think that something like Ochi just completely invalidates the game. Like, it doesn't destroy what I like about Pikmin. And, I know I'm going into more of a general talk about the Pikmin franchise because, Pikmin 3 is, not the longest game, so I've said pretty much all I can about just Pikmin 3 specifically. But, like, when I look at Ochi, I think that Ochi could, if, a Pikmin 5 has something similar to Ochi, I think they could find a way to balance Ochi like they did with the Wing Pikmin, because the Wing Pikmin in 3 were, like, super broken, and they were heavily nerfed in Pikmin 4, so you can't just lock them on to and charge them at, things that you want them to grab. So, like, I could see Ochi being altered in a Pikmin 5, or maybe them cutting back on things where you need Ochi, so that way, like, if you have a Pikmin 5 and there's a co-op, then they could go back to like Pikmin 3 Deluxe's kind of co-op instead of Pikmin 4 taking a cue from Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2, and I would hope that would be the case, but even if not, like, I can't exactly say I feel like Ochi is something that, breaks the game and just ruins the Pikmin experience. He breaks the game for sure, don't get me wrong, and I do think that, you know, there needs to be either some fine tuning of the execution for Ochi, or just get rid of the space dog, because yeah, having all of your Pikmin just basically getting to ride in a car, and then you can ram that car into every enemy, and avoiding having it where you can just avoid having to actually bother with combat. Like, I do think that, like, that's something that needs to be fixed in a Pikmin 5. But, you know, all this to say, I like Pikmin a lot, and that's gonna do it for this video, where idle games are whatever, they're good for the background. Muppet Show, please make more. And I like Pikmin. That's how I'm ending it. Goodbye.